Good morning. Welcome to Tarot Time. I finally got my everything working. Sorry, I'm running about 5 minutes late again. Mercury's direct. Well, it's still deep in its shadow now. So anyway, here we are. I made it. Hey, happy Sunday, everybody. If you're watching it as a video, we'll get started in just a minute. Give the live people a moment to get their notification. And we have Deborah for now and Karen, welcome. And hi, Millie. Hi, Victor from Truth Wave. Welcome. Welcome, friend. Hey, Roseanne, Millie, Lakeside Laura's in. Yay. And Laura, two Lauras back to back. And hi, Deborah, and hello. Who else? Doreen Din, Lisa, Kaya, Bert, Wreath, welcome. All right. So welcome everybody. So for tarot time, what we do is we do basically some divination work for the week ahead. On different events, we do individual readings, but this is for a group experience for our community and what's going on in the great big wide world and what we need to watch out for. We'll finish up by doing an energy transmission with the master teachers to set into these new energies. Oh boy, the camera messed up again. All right. Okie dokie. Let's see if we can get this back on. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, technical issues, right? Oh my goodness. So let's see if this works. Nope. Let's see if this works. Come on, work. Okay, let's see. Yeah, nope. Doesn't want to work for me. Oh, wait. Hold on a sec. It's like the camera doesn't want to work right now. Well, hi everybody. None of these cameras want to work. Oh, great. Maybe if I unplug this, will this work? H-time Hilton camera. Well, this isn't going to be easy without any video. Add the stage. Yeah, God, this is terrible. So thank you, Colleen and everybody. I don't know. Yeah, if I try to come in and go out, I'll probably lose the whole thing. All right. But you can hear me, right? So everyone can hear me. Oh man. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It shouldn't be doing this. It should have, yeah, at least this picture should come on. Oh geez. We should go back to settings, maybe. Gosh, I don't know how to do that. Well, we're trying to get the video back. You can still hear me. Yeah, that if you can't see the cards, that kind of sucks. I'm glad the audio is great. Um, change. All right, this is better than nothing. Let me see if I can raise the lighting a little bit. Okay, so we'll do this. This is the computer camera. It's funny. I've got a 2021 what's it called, Airbook Mac, or and it has like a 2011 camera in it. Anyway, hi everybody, we're back. And we see you. Yeah, all right. So anyhow, hello. Little bit of technical stuff. I don't know why this why I'm having trouble with the iPhone camera, using the iPhone as a camera. It's been a new development. So anyways, you just take a deep breath, drink a little more lemon water. And yeah, so everything's direct right now, right? So that's one interesting thing. So there's no planets that are in retrograde. I think not till early May, I think, when Pluto goes retrograde. So you've got this flow of everything direct. A lot of energy's been set. Vibrationally, we've had a lot of solar activity. Interesting thing is that we're getting a lot of fireballs. There's another new one, I think, just yesterday. Bright meteors, and I think that's from the outgassing of 3I Atlas that we're passing through the debris field. They're starting to now, as it had its anti-tails that were jetting towards the sun, and then with enough acceleration and enough mass, it actually can overcome the solar wind, and then the sun's gravity kind of pulls it in. So I think that's what's happening. So this might be an interstellar seed. It might be like new raw materials that could be genetic for life forms in other parts of the galaxy. I mean, we won't probably know that for decades, but that's an interesting prospect. And it just seems like they're just, even if that's not true, just like energetically or symbolically, it just feels like new seeds are being planted now. And I mean, there's a lot of stress in the world, obviously, what's going on in Iran, and there's other wars that we don't hear about. People's attention seem to be a little bit off of Russia, Ukraine, but that's going on. I had a few predictions. Some of you saw my spring psychic forecast, but we had some predictions about the trends of that war and this war or conflict or whatever you want to call it, and then in other parts of the world, and yeah, and a lot rising from the surface still. So it's going to be an interesting few weeks. We're going to try to key in on this week for now. So I'm going to start out doing a meditation card, and I also want to see what you guys are saying for a second. Good day, True Colors. Hello, Little Eagle Woman. Welcome. And hi, Colleen and Justine. Welcome. Making lemonade. Yeah. Oh, I look great. A little grainy, right? And I had to raise the light for this camera, but thanks. And I just resubscribed. Somehow you were knocked off. Interesting. Why were you knocked off? That could be why I had a wave of unsubscribes last week. People are just knocked off for no reason. YouTube, yes. All right, so let's do a meditation card for the week. Nice and grounded. It's a beautiful, although dark and overcast Sunday here in the Catskill Mountains of New York. And a lot going on. I sometimes you can just sort of feel the energy. Like I slept maybe 5 hours last night, so it wasn't great, but wasn't terrible. But I've had a few nights where I haven't been able to sleep because probably because the energy's been so strong. And I feel like Spirit's with us and is kind of saying that this new wave of energy that's coming, it's really working on our DNA right now. It's almost like in a collective, there's like a mass remembrance that's coming on. And a lot of us that have been doing this work, we're kind of the forerunners for the main show of spiritual ascension on planet Earth. And part of that is just basically awakening memories that we have stored within our beings, and physically that can be identified through DNA and probably other cellular patterns in the body, but that's what they're saying. Like there's a time of remembrance. So I think for these next few weeks, if you do a little bit more meditation with that intention, you're going to start to really tap into some of your past lives or other lifetimes. I mean, it's not really past. It's just in linear time, it might be past, because I know I've had lifetimes in the 1800s and so forth, and I can remember parts of a few of them that they kind of come in visions and dreams sometimes. So I think this is really a time for that, and an understanding of what's going on in the world, behind the scenes, or what's beyond like what we see in the politics, the show, as it were. And Spirit keeps urging us not to go into that mindset where we either just get so wrapped up on like the U.S. president and other politics around the world that we're just so focused on loving or hating this person. Meanwhile, it's likely a plant from a different, a couple different ways of looking at it, kind of a spiritual plant, as it were, as a soul that's playing a role in our ascension by basically tearing everything up that's not sustainable. So these higher energies, it's almost like a category 5 hurricane in a way. It's like what isn't stable or held down to the earth is going to get scattered and blow away. So we've got to stay very grounded during this time where the energies are shifting and we're in this cosmic storm, but it's just part of the whole process of evolution that we're in, and ascension. And we see more mystical things, like more UFOs or extraterrestrials or Sasquatch or things like that, or getting more visions of our deceased relatives or our ascended masters. So it's really exciting times. But the idea, and this is where the challenge is staying in the heart and staying in our own frame or in our own energy, not to get pulled by the programming machine, whether that's the media or the thing about politics, and especially the U.S., but other countries too. It's not just the U.S. There's a lot of division in Canada, the UK, and Europe. I think in the UK it's the Labour Party and the Conservative, or the Liberals, or that. But in any event, and of course in the U.S. it's Republican and Democrat, or Liberal and Conservative. But the idea is to understand that it's a process, not to get distracted, be aware of what's going on, because we need to know what's going on in the world for our own safety and well-being, but don't get distracted from what our purpose is, which is to ascend and to help others to awaken also, and to help humanity to grow, and to do our little parts in order to make that happen, right? So anyhow, so hi, Colleen. That's nice. I'm just looking at your comments. Hello, Linda. Hello, Coyote Moon. Welcome. You're right on time. You're not late. I was late, and then the camera pooped out. Was it Mercury's Last Stand? It went to direct? What date was that? The 20th. Yeah, the same day as this. We're the 22nd. So it's still in its station. It's starting to come out of its station now, and slowly starting to move forward. From our perspective on Earth, obviously. Yeah, I feel like Spirit saying, a couple more surprises from the sky. And not this week, but the following week, we have the C26, C/2026, A1 MAPS comet, MAPS comet. That's going to be in the sun's corona, like passing through the corona. Now, the sun's corona is very, 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 very hot. In fact, it's several times hotter than the surface of the sun, and it's electromagnetically charged, and comets also have an electromagnetic signature through their coma, and then the outgassing also. So it'd be interesting to see how they interact, and if the sun is already primed, it could catalyze new solar flares and coronal mass ejections or filament ejections or stuff like that. We're actually in a G2 or G3 storm right now from a coronal hole impact. And we had a couple of other, I think it went up to G2, right? So we've had, we've been in solar storming, and we've had an uptick of earthquakes, which often happen when there's a lot of solar activity. So when we get into the high speed stream from the coronal hole and the plasma density drops, that can also catalyze any earthquakes or seismic type activity. If any fault line just happen to be on the brink, and it just needs a little bit of an extra catalyst to go over the edge and erupt. So, the next 3 or 4 days, we may see something a little bit bigger than the mid and high 6.0 range that we've been seeing. I think we had 177, did we, not that long ago? So we may be within the next month, weeks to maybe a month or so, we may get like an 8 or close to an 8, like something big on the Earth. And I'm hearing, it's due, and the Earth has really been absorbing a lot of energy. We've been absorbing a lot of energy also. So again, it comes down to, allowing that to express through the heart, expand through the mind, through the body, and through our own atmospheres, our own auric fields. And we'll be fine. So we've got to ride the waves and stay focused, centered, and balanced, and then we're going to have our amazing ascensions and start to remember things long forgotten, and tap into ancient knowledge and wisdom and new knowledge and wisdom and all that stuff. So as I'm talking, since I'm not thinking, Spirit can still do this. And this is the card that I pulled. So the Four of Wands is it's really kind of like a nice balancing energy. It's almost like an 11-11. And right, the camera's here, not here like usual. So I have to do this because we have the 2 pillars or wands here and the 2 here. So it's almost like an 11-11 energy. And then in between the 11, you have like a portal, right? And we have the 2 figures standing in the portal. There's a big castle. It looks like a wedding also, or a celebration. So this is almost like, it's kind of like what I'm talking about. It's almost like those of us that are ready are going to be granted access into this, I don't want to say new reality, but this higher reality or energy. We're always connected to all energy, right? So it's not like new or different. It's just where our awareness is, or that we're ready to achieve a higher awareness, and by doing that, we step into whatever our version of a higher reality is. It's almost like a welcoming. So this is for our meditation card. So the idea is, this is the Hanson Roberts deck. It's the 4 of Wands or the 4 of Rods, depending on your deck. And if you have your own tarot card, pull the 4 of Wands and meditate with it daily. And the idea is you get very relaxed, very open. If you want to have a little like solfeggio frequencies or nice music, or do a little bit of chanting or your own thing before that, that's fine. These are just guidelines, but Yeah, get very relaxed. Relax your shoulders, chin, and forehead. Then your whole body starts to relax when you do that. Be aware of your breath. Um, Aware, but not uh, gently aware. So you're open and aware of everything. Inhale and exhale, aware body, space around the body, very present. Be aware of what you're feeling, and then the next step in your mind, step into the card and be aware of what you're feeling as soon as you step into your physical reality and into this portal of this Four of Wands in the tarot. So it's a different energy. It may feel different. So that's the first thing. What do you feel? And maybe who are you seeing? Maybe these are a couple of your spirit guides that are leading you to the promised land, as it were, to the ascended state. For this could be the transition from 3D to 5D. Could we pass through the 4D also through the astral realms? And the astral's kind of that intermediary between the physical and the very spiritual, like the fifth dimension and beyond. So the fourth dimension, has a component connected to the physical plane as well as connected to the spiritual. So we can get information through our dreams, through our loved ones on the other side, and stuff like that. So I think this is saying, I think the message for us is this is time to transition through the fourth dimension in order to get to the higher dimensions. And that sometimes we store a lot of our fears, our traumas, unwanted memories and stuff like that in our subconscious. And then it kind of becomes a fourth dimensional energy that's around us. So the idea is this is the time to transcend that. And, so a lot of times, like I said, we do tend to store our fears in the subconscious, and it's a little bit scary to face them again because they are fears. So what you do is you get into your heart. That's the portal of truth, the portal of your empowerment, and set the intention to transition through the intermediary stage so that you can come into that promised land of the ascended, the fifth dimensional earth grid, and the through the central sun grid also, and then there's a transcendence that's happening. So I think what this is saying is we're in an important transition time as our community, people that are drawn to this, whether you hear live or as a video. So what are you guys saying about this? Yeah, the whole movie. What? Yeah. About ET. All right. I'm missing the whole conversation. I like this deck too. It's called the Hanson Roberts deck. It's very kind of like childlike. I think it fits my energy well. Oh, it's by Faces. Is that with or without Rod Stewart? Or is that the Small Faces? That was the Faces before they were the Face. They were called the Small Faces before Rod Stewart was in the band. Interesting. We like our music around here. If you guys are new, that's basically what I get for that. So this is good energy, right? So let's do a 3-card spread now with Rod Stewart. Thank you, Laura, for filling me in. I'm drinking tea today, coffee, tea, or caffeine free on an overcast and drizzly Sunday morning. I think there's going to be a big spring for a lot of us. This is the energies are really conducive to putting those plans that have been ruminating during the winter months. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, that would be your summer months. And then in this equinox portal and going back into the light, it's really, how's that going to express into the world now? So we're being called upon to be more visible and to share our gifts with more people now, because there's been a seeding period that we've been in. By the way, did I mention the fireballs yet? I did at the beginning, right? There's another one in Texas, and there's no meteor showers now. We're kind of like in between. We're not in the Leonids or any of that. So we don't know where they're from, but the hypothesis that I feel very strongly intuitively is we're passing through the outgassing from 3i Atlas when it made its perihelion and close to that. It's farther away from the sun, so we're not passing through its orbit or anything like that. But it had antitails, so spewing interstellar matter towards the sun, and with sufficient velocity and with particles of sufficient mass would I know I'm repeating myself would overcome the solar winds, and we'd be passing through that field. So it's interesting because they have some samples. It'll be interesting to see what they find in those samples and what's shared with the public. And if this is indeed, if these interstellar objects, I think there's billions in the Milky Way. Since we've had sophisticated telescopes to pick up some of them in the last 10 years, there's been 3 interstellar objects. There's a lot of them. And they carry materials, maybe even building blocks to genetic materials from different parts of the galaxy. Then they interact with the sun, they outgas, they spew this material into a solar system. Voila, you might get genetic material from millions of light years away. This according to science. 3i Atlas has been traveling somewhere between, I think, 3 to 10 billion years. That's quite a window of uncertainty. 7 billion years window of uncertainty, but certainly enough time to transform material from another portion of the solar system, then to pass through interstellar space, which is not a total vacuum. It's 99.99% plasma, but there are gas molecules or molecules scattered within that, maybe 1 or 2 of every square kilometer, or something ridiculously like that. But in a few billion years, it can pick up that material for sure. So we're going to be learning a lot about ourselves, about the solar system, about interstellar space, about the origins of the planet, how the universe was really formed, because it's not a big bang, that's something else. At least that's the prevailing newer theories that I'm aware of. So a lot of scientific discovery and exploration. I'm going to actually do a separate spring psychic forecast video, just keying in on things like geology and space weather and discoveries. Because the last one, it was over a half hour long, was mostly on geopolitics and those trends. So on that, Stevie Nicks too. Oh yay! I love Stevie Nicks also. Oh, happy anniversary to Mom. Yeah. I never saw Stevie Nicks, but this weather triggers migraine. Yeah, it can. And if you're sensitive to the solar weather, you've probably been feeling it lately also. I think people that have like autoimmune things or joint things or stuff like that feel it more when there's a strong current from the sun. I think, like I said, we're in either G2, which is moderate, to G3, which is strong geomagnetic storming. So what else? Rod Stewart fan here. Coffee tea. Redbone. Leon Redbone. Who's that? Okay. Anyway, 3-card spread coming up for the week ahead. What do we need to know? Our community or about the world in general? What do we need to know now? That would be the question. All right, and where's my clipboard? Yeah, as I'm pulling these cards, I'm being reminded that and the cards are reflecting this, but I'm being reminded that there's a lot going on in the Middle East, obviously, right? A lot of bombing, a lot centered around the Strait of Hormuz. And then we have the 7 of Swords reverse, the 6 of Swords reverse, then the 10 of Swords. So my feeling is this is a good week to really energetically batten down the hatches. We are in the cosmic storm, so I think the next week or two we're going to see some explosive change in activities and stuff like that. And I think it's just going to put the economy in a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Gas prices, it may go up. Yeah, they show me the number 5. Don't be surprised if we get $5 a gallon. we're at about, that would be ridiculous. I hope that's wrong. Cancel, clear, delete. That's wrong. Because we're right here. We're at about 350. And I don't know how much oil passed through the Straits of Hormuz. I think for the U.S. it's about 2%, at least the refined oil. I think it's about 5% or so of unrefined, and then 2% of refined oil. I think. So so prices going up what over 50 cents. So prices going up 20 or 30% when there's a 2% reduction. Something don't add up there. So as we often talk about, these things are planned. Unfortunately, real people die. War really sucks. Real people suffer. Like Tel Aviv's been getting bombed a lot. I think the vision that I had a while ago about a skyscraper in um, Dubai or Riyadh. I think it was Dubai, actually. I think that happened with the bombing. I think some of those high rises, exploded or caught fire. So I think that's what I was seeing. So, swords are often about strife. It's air, so it's about the mind. It's about strife. The Seven of Swords, Six of Swords reversed. Um, yeah, I think things are going to escalate into the next level. So I think what we're going to do for our transmission is do a vibe really on peace and to try to like smooth out these intense energies as best as we can do this. I know there's a lot of other people that are doing the same, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. This is pretty intense stuff going on. So again, more reason to be in the heart and the power to know that everything's gonna be okay. This is just a big transition, and I guess we're coming into the heart of the storm right now, and um, hopefully it'll pass quickly, and hopefully we'll what's being shown here won't really be be as big of a deal. But I need to move this again. I'm used to doing this a whole different way, but the camera app isn't working. Yeah, so those are the cards. I mean, this is water, this is boats. I think there's like issues of pirating, of attacks, bombing, all that stuff. I mean, it's already happening. It just seems like it's getting more intense. I think is that, and they just kind of showed. They just got this funny image of a phone call, and it was Trump and Putin. I don't know what that has to do, but Russia's behind the scenes, China's behind the scenes. I mean, it's kind of like all the focus of energy is going to the Middle East now, basically. That's kind of was like a Nostradamus prediction for the end times, or the new beginning times, however you want to put that. That a lot of it would be evolving out of the Middle East also. So that's what that's showing. And I think, in our lives, we just have to just be very patient and understanding of people. Try not to get triggered so easily, because this is just really, again, intense energy. It's easy to get thrown off balance by other people, or by what's going on in the news. I mean, I think we need the right balance now. I mean, we need to know what's going on, because we have to be strategists. We have to be spiritual warriors. We can't just ignore what's going on in our physical 3D environment. We have to be aware of it, but then also to understand that we're not of the 3D environment. We're here to bring these higher energies into the 3D. So we're all portals that are doing spiritual work, doing the meditation, work and stuff like that. We're all, potentially energetic portals to bring higher vibration of higher dimensions into this physical 3-dimensional environment. And when the going gets tough, we just have to be more in our heart and more in our power. And I react to things too, and I just have to know that I have to be aware of that, not get pulled into it, because then that's just my old programming, kicking in. So I have to be more aware and just understand how I'm reacting or being triggered by things, like the observer. This is what Joe Dispenza and other great teachers share with us. And then you're not the program anymore. You're just observing the program and how it's working and the mechanics of it. And then we have a choice. You would have a choice from that point, whether you want to feed that program or whether it's like, you know what, I'm not going to feed this anymore. I'm going to raise my vibration. I'm going to feel grateful for the now, for everything that's positive and good in my life and in the world, because there's still a lot of good. It's just that our attention and focus is on what we would call bad. Well, people suffering and dying, we would call that bad. And then we feed that energy. So we have to work on that. All of us spiritual people, we have to work on that, and we are. So I think things have to get ugly before people wake up. And then what else? Let's do a Native American card. Let's move on. Let me put some of your comments. This one caught my troll. I just think everyone is stupid. All right. And like Taylor said, control period. Sorry to break free. Sorry to break free. I'm not sorry. Liberation here on the macro and micro levels. So let's, if we're liberated on the micro and enough of that, we affect the macro. Yeah. Breaking free. It's always been about control. It's called the stargates, not the oil. Yeah, exactly. Whether it's stargates or something else, or a combination of a few things. We have to remember Iran, it's Persia. You remember back in the day, Desert Storm. Oh, Iraq, they have weapons of mass destruction. Let's go attack Iraq. No weapons of mass destruction there. That was the Bush era, right? So June, it's like they're about to develop nuclear weapons. We've got to disable all the facilities. June coming on. We did it. We've been successful. We dismantled all of it. 6 months later, right, or 8 months later, nope. They have nukes. What did they do in 8 months? Rebuild facilitated nuclear facilities in 8 freaking months. I mean, what's that? Oh yes. Look, mommy, the emperor has no clothes. Know that we're in a period of gaslighting to the nth degree right now, and it's so powerful that people believe obvious lies are truth. So obviously there's more than weapons of mass destruction, right? Obviously there's more of that, because you don't level, what did they say, like 8 or 9 nuclear facilities in one country and say that we're done, we're successful, and then 8 or 9 months later go in and do the same thing over again. It doesn't make any sense. And to have oil spike up so much in the US, when really there's only, the point being is that there's ways of working around that. I hate to see more environmental raping going on in the land in the US or Canada or anywhere, but the truth is that we have the resources to produce more oil in this country. In other words, coming full circle to Laura or whatever comment that was. It's not about the oil. I mean, yeah, when you control the oil, you can control movements in the world, so maybe partly. But whoever was talking about the stargates, yeah, there's definitely truth to that. So what else? This is the year of the fire horse. Very good, exactly. The 2608. I heard all wars are for something else other than. Yep, we will be good in the end. Just stay in the eye of the storm. Thank you, Karen. Absolutely, yeah. Napoleon Bonaparte. I only know my law, the law that makes you laugh, not the law that makes you cry. Neapolitan. That's not Napoleon. No, never mind. Never mind. All right. Good. I've stayed out of. Yeah, I haven't been in the city for a good while. Yeah. Yeah, I recommend anybody moving out of the big cities. I mean, there's going to be terrorist attacks. I mean, that's just part of the cycle, right? So I have my Native American tarot, and interestingly, this is the card that just popped right out. This is the medicine wheel or the wheel of fortune. So we are the medicine. Remember that. Take care of ourselves, our spirits, our bodies, and each other, our families, and stuff like that. The death card popped out. That's change, transformation. So the old has to die for the new to be reborn. And I'll actually pull another one. So we'll do. I guess it'll be like a 3-card spread with the Native American deck. And this is the one. They wanted me to pull this one. The Hooster Coyote. How appropriate. I haven't said this for a while, but I often look at Donald Trump as the coyote. You know, the coyote's the trickster, but the trickster is highly revered in Native American traditions because they trick people. They trick us into learning and growing. Basically, sometimes our egos need to be tricked in order to ascend to maybe transcend the old egoic stuff and to ascend to a higher level. So we've talked many times about him being a playing a role in this ascension. I mean, I don't think it's a conscious thing. I think it's more of a spiritual thing. But others would argue that it actually is a conscious role, and that there's extraterrestrial connections. With the governments and everything. I mean, one thing I would say that I'm very confident of, because I've received a lot of times, is that there are ascended masters and even ETs, posing as human in very high level sensitive positions of government. Would that be the U.S. president? I wouldn't say it's off the table. It's not what I believe at this time, but I don't know everything, right? So I'm open to all possibilities. But what I get from spirit is that from a spiritual level, that this has to happen. And this is the person, the narcissist that wants to rule the world, if you want to look at it that way, that doesn't play by the rules at all, that that is the corruption that's exposing the great corruption, that's tearing everything apart, like a bull in a china shop, creating all this disruption, so the truth will emerge, that the all the corruption can finally come to the surface, basically. And as much as the American president is hated by many, I don't think if Kamala Harris was the president, if there'd be such a push to exposing the Epstein files now, because she ain't in it. He is in it. And people want to hang him. So they're going to dig deeper and deeper and uncover more of these ugly truths, because Epstein was just a player, a tool also. It's not Epstein. It's what's behind that, right? So I just said a lot of loaded information here. So I want to see what you guys are saying, and then I'm going to move on to the next part. How much should we prep? We should prep to the point of the disaster that could shut down everything for a long period of time that will never happen. I'll put it to you that way. So yeah, we should be able to survive if everything shuts down tomorrow. Like, we should be able to start fires. We should be able to, have food. We should be able to have any medicines that we need. That kind of a thing. People think, well, I've got a generator. It ain't gonna matter if it's a long power outage, because the pumps for the gasoline for your generators aren't gonna work. We should be prepared for theft. People can't eat. They get desperate. What happened in Donner Pass, or that's how desperate people can be. If they're hungry, starving, and miserable, yeah, that they'll gobble up their neighbors. So we need to be aware of that reality. And I think the more prepared we are, the less likely it is to happen. I don't think it's going to come to that, but it might. So be aware. All right. So did I answer that question? Fast like the chariot. I like that. Let's get it in and out. Let's do what we need to do to expose it and get out of it, right? Um, and unreal how much self hate. Oh yeah, that's people are programmed to hate themselves and disempowered. It's not by accident. It's by design. If anyone came and abused them, they'd fight for their abusers. Yeah, yeah. Uh, twisting the mentality. Here we go. Trump has been a ride, egotistical, loud his whole life. I don't think this is conscious. Okay, thank you for that. I agree, but I don't know. So yeah, we put it out there. Yeah, I'm not the grand poobah, right? Uh, isn't partly what started this cannibalism? Maybe. Um, and then the Karen saying, preppers say to not reveal what you have and not barter. It shows you have enough of that item to spare. They may return to take more from you. That's good advice. Yeah. As Peppers say, especially true with them. Yeah, I'm gonna probably eventually, sooner than later, get a license and get a gun. We may need that. Like The Walking Dead. Yeah. And hard to stay away from it. You can't stay away from everything. You know, you really can't. Never reveal what you have. Yeah, you can. Yeah, when people get desperate, they get desperate, right? And that can happen. So and 3 cards that came up, the medicine wheel. So the wheel's turning. This is part of it. This is part of the ascension. So hang in there. The death card, change and transformation. Then the Hooster Coyote. This is the magician. So we got all 3 our major arcanas. Yeah, it's Mercury. Mercury's the trickster of the planets. It's like that time that I was into doing like candle magic and stuff like that. And yeah, this is a while ago because I was going to see a Grateful Dead show. So this is in the early '90s. So I did some did some prayers, lit the candle, prayed to the planet Mercury to get me, because I didn't have a ticket, to get me a front row ticket. That's what I prayed for, front row ticket. So I went, I got my ticket. It was front row, but it was right behind the stage. That's the trickster in action. That's Mercury energy. That's what this is all about. So, you know, we're getting tricked into growing and ascending. That's just part of the process. So if you hate the U.S. president and politics, I don't blame you, but we have to understand that there's something higher and greater going on. And I don't believe he was elected. I believe he was chosen, to be honest. And I think that's just the way the politics are, that it's a show and the wars are a show, and the globalists decide who's going to be president. And they may not. I mean, I think to a small degree they probably do manipulate the election, but they manipulate the mind, they manipulate the humans, and get who they want in, basically under the guise of a fair election. That's how I believe it works. They are all chosen. That's what I believe too. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the Catskills. I'm not really rural though. I mean, I'm just outside the village of Phoenicia. Um, I mean, I'm surrounded by Catskill Park and woods, which is great. But I have neighbors. Like I can see my neighbors out the window. Well, their house. I can't see my neighbors. So at one point I wanted to move to the Adirondacks and be really rural. Then at another time I wanted to, and I still do want to move to Hawaii Island, because I think even though it's an island, it's very sustainable. Like you could grow food there, even if you don't get the supplies coming from the outside, because your cars, your oil, everything has to be shipped to the islands, right? Um, but people could work, be in a community and survive and grow food and make the things that they need to make and make tools and everything. So it may come. I think by 2030, we're really going to be thinking, and that's, less than 4 years away, by the way, to put things into perspective. I think we're really going to be at that place where we're figuring out how we're going to, what we're going to do if the shit really hits the fan, which come the next solar maximum in the mid 2030s, if that hasn't happened yet, I think it's going to happen then. That's just less than 10 years away. So no fear, though. This is all just part of our evolution as a species, right? No fear. So let me do another divination deck, or this is called the Sacred Geometry Oracle for people that are new. All right. Well, I like this. All yellow. Yellow's happy, creative energy, solar plexus chakra. And 3 is Jupiter. It's expansive. So I think that's a message to shine our love light out into the world. Speaking of the Grateful Dead, that's one of their songs, Love Light. And the message here is the frequency of the solar plex chakra, the yellow flower of life, supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what our contribution is to the whole. So that's basically it. This is what it looks like. And as you gaze on it, just feel your solar plex opening and charging, because that's our place of energy, of action, of will, courage. All these things are associated with the solar plex, which also links in with our digestion, our stomachs too. So what are we digesting, or what do we want to digest, basically? And they're kind of saying, well, what happened is like the stomach sort of assimilates the food and makes it more homogeneous so that it can be digested. So it's more like a processing station rather than digestion itself. This is just what's coming through as I'm talking. So what would that mean? It's like, I think if we can be more strong in the solar plexus, well, firstly, it supports the heart. So it supports our heart-brain coherence. And secondly, it kind of allows us to just kind of assimilate the truth and to kind of be more in our own power and to create a kind. It's also the mind. The root is like the body, the sacral, the emotions, and then the solar plexus, the intellect, and that's the lower triangle. Then the heart is the heart is the heart. It's the center point. Then you have the upper chakra, the upper triangle. So anyway, so there's that. I hope your package arrives too, Mary. Yellow poplar in the last couple of weeks. That's what Mary's saying. Last 2 weeks. Trump took on the huge mission to lead the White Hats to remove the aliens who are not of the light. I've heard that theory also. And interestingly, there were sightings last week of extraterrestrials over Mar-a-Lago. I mean, you have to take anything in the news, whether it's mainstream media or when these alternative news sites, especially they're either right or left wing, with a grain of salt. But that said, that was shown, which would support your theory, Karen. Right. You don't hate anyone, right? They're hardly on top of that chain. Hardly, exactly. They came after me. All right, sorry about that. Whatever we're talking about. About to ride again. I'll have a good ride. I'm gonna go be on the road to New Jersey soon to visit my son. Once we're done. All right, so let's see. It's about we have a couple minutes. Oh, I have where's the medicine cards? Do I have them with me? Where the medicine cards go? Oh, here they are. Okay. I always love to do the totem animals. They're one of my favorites. Yeah, I don't appreciate the B cast either. Hello, Kathleen Cooker. Um, all right, grab the last of my tea. Okay. funny. I'm seeing the coyotes. It'd be funny if I got another coyote. They're teachers. They're tricksters and they're teachers, right? Oh, we got the horse. And we're in the year of the fire horse. That's about empowerment. So yeah, stock up, get your supplies. It's also freedom, right? Because when horses were introduced, horses are interesting because they have a lot of energy, and I love horses. That to me, they're some kind of extraterrestrial, interdimensional intelligence that are here to help humanity. So they are serving us basically, and when the native people of the Americas, because the horses are not indigenous, they came from Spain, I think, or Portugal, or maybe Morocco, but that part of the world into the Central Americas, so Mexico and those areas, and then they came into North America, and when the people had that, it was empowering because then they could cover more ground. That would help their hunts, that helped them to find supplies. It gave them freedom because they weren't always on foot. But at the same time, they started to clash with other Native American nations because they unwittingly were encroaching on their, I don't want to say their land, because the Native Americans knew better that the land belongs to no one. But you know what I'm saying. Their territories, as it were, and then tribal battles basically broke out. So the horses can also have a resonance of war and battles and stuff like that. But it's really because we're expanding our horizons, and as we are expanding our horizons, we're kind of being challenged by the old status quo, whether it's our own ideas that we thought, our own what's the right word? Our own worldview, or our own beliefs of what the world is. And then as we get empowered and we're able to travel farther and deeper, those beliefs get challenged. So the war becomes our own egos in a way, releasing and letting go what we thought we knew. So we could take that on a lot of different levels, but it's really about empowerment. And that's the main thing with the horse energy. And this is our time to be more empowered. And, send prayers, but keep yourself surrounded by a lot of love and light. Try not to get pulled into all that chaos and drama and negativity, because it's getting worse before it gets better, and it's pretty bad right now. So that's really what I have. Thank you, Victor. I'm glad you had a wonderful breakfast with us. We love you and appreciate you. And Victor does some great meditation work on this Truth Wave channel. I know Millie does videos sometimes, and Lakeside Laura does, and Josh isn't in, but he does a lot of great work on his channel. So if anybody wants to just let us know where to find you on YouTube, if you have a channel, please let us know who you are in the comments, and you may get a couple new subscribers from here. Let's all cultivate that. Scrambled eggs and toast. Eggs are good to have, good to eat. That's a very good. And highly regal and spiritual animals. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. Have a great day, Victor, if you're still on. All right. Let me do just one more thing. This will be from the Kyle Grace 22 Archangels Oracle deck. All right, so and we got Jeremiel, personal responsibility. Interesting. Take responsibility for your choices. This is an opportunity for inner growth. Such an important message for spiritual warriorship, which we talk about from time to time. That the true warrior will take responsibility for everything, right or wrong, in their world. That doesn't mean taking blame for it or blaming themselves. That's a whole different energy. But just understanding that we are part of a cosmic dance here. And if something's wrong, even if it's in another country, we're still part of that cosmic dance. So if we take responsibility, then we open up to possible solutions, right? And then we don't sink into victim mode, because like attracts like. If we're subconsciously in victim mentality, then we attract things in our lives that make us victims. Does that make sense? Now, if we're not in that mindset, but we have been, so I'm going to take this in a different direction now. Like, say, the last several months we became empowered, not a victim anymore. What tends to happen? That whole like challenge of the world outside gets worse before it gets better, because we get tested, because the old energy doesn't just go away. It's a process. So people might think, I did what you're saying, and it got worse. People got worse. My life got worse, and so forth and so on. It's like the story of Job, right? In the Old Testament, it's got a similar resonance, that you just have to stay in your faith, and then it's going to transcend, and your vibration is going to lock into the new frequency where this old stuff's not going to matters much anymore. So hopefully I explained that right. Anyway, thank you, Jeremiel. That this is what came through from this card. Take responsibility for your choices. Yes, exactly. So for Let's Spirit Guide, that's Laura's channel. You can find her SME Eastern Time on Tuesdays for live tarot and oracle reading, which are excellent, by the way. Also, I will have Witchy Trista with me on Thursday at 7. Exciting. Very good. So I'll try to remember if I'm free, which I usually am not at 7, but if I am, I'll try to get hop on. Yeah. And there we go. See, there you have it. There's your testimonial. And I have it to enact another habit of prayer and visualization. Becomes part of my character. Me too. More than I'm doing. It's the energy forgiveness. Yeah. And when we forgive, it's for us. It's clearing our energy fields, not for the other person. Really, if you see it that way. One of my mottos is I'm going to forgive you if you did something bad against me, but I'm not going to forget. So forgive and forget. No, I'll only do half of that. I guess I'm not Jesus Christ after all, right? So anyway, are we ready to do some energy work? Yes. All right, that's fair, right? Forgive the person, not the action, right? Yeah, and I that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way to frame that. Okie dokie. You gotta love Yogi Bhajan. Gotta love him. I never met him. Just one of my teachers had lived with him on and off for about like 8 years or so. So, some of the stories that we heard about him were true, but at the same time, she still adored him. So anyway, let's get nice and relaxed. So what do we want to do, Spirit? They're saying they want to kind of recharge us basically for this. Oh yeah, my ears are buzzing. Recharge us. Yeah, from the heart though. Okay, so let's just get nice and relaxed. And if anybody's new, I do this kind of energy channeling work with a group that I know of, the master teachers. So I'm staying conscious, almost like I'm doing mediumship. I'm blending with the energies rather than checking out and being a pure trance channel that way. So I'm in a lighter trance. I'm usually conscious when I'm doing this, and they will impart wisdom, but the main thing is they come through to raise the frequency to help make the energies of a higher vibration through us and around us basically. And through that they can work with your higher self to accelerate the energy flows, to clear some old gunky stuff, because we all have, to greater or lesser degree, hopefully by now lesser degree, obstructions within our energy fields from this and other lifetimes, sometimes from other people and situations. So that they as they accelerate the energies and raise the the frequencies, which is a higher wavelength of energy that's able to move through these blocks and clear them and to help us to ascend to our higher power. So that's what we're going to do. Yes, we need to be powerful at this time. Let's forget about forgiving and forgetting. Let's forget about all this stuff now. And what about me? Well, we're saying that colloquially, but what about you? You matter. And then this whole like spiritual mindset is like, oh, lose the ego, transcend the ego and all that. No, you're still important. So what we wish to bring to you at this time as we raise the frequencies is, yes, you do want to lose self-importance, but at the same time, recognize that you are important, for you are a transmitter and receiver of divine codes of information and have the ability to transmute that and then transmit that, as it were, transmute the things that are obstructing and transmit that energy into the world around you. So treat yourself like gold, dear ones. Treat your body like gold, because it is. You have gold in your body. Yes, you do. The sun has so much gold in it, so much gold, that it would fill the entire planet Earth many times over. Of course, it's not solid gold, but it's the symbol Ag, it's little Ag ions and molecules. It exists at maybe many trillion times of the amount that hydrogen and helium exist, but it's there. You are gold, and gold is the key of wealth. Be the energy of gold. Vibrate gold in your solar plex chakra and transcend that into the heart center. As we raise the frequency, just relax shoulders, chin, cheeks, and forehead. Relax, breathe. Feel your solar plex and beautiful golden yellow light beaming, happy vibes, creative energy in all directions. You are the master teachers. We are you. There's no separation. We are of consciousness. We are not of anything physical. We are interdimensional beings of light and energy, as you are also. You just are at this very brief blip of the present now moment, experiencing your life in a physical being, whereas we have done that many moons ago in different realities, as it were. But we are all connected. We are all one. This is the message. As we raise the frequencies, we cannot do this for you or with you if we were not connected to you, if we were not part of you, because you are the master of your own domain, your own universe. It's your universe. So we only come to you through your invitation. And we thank you for allowing us to be part of your process at this time as we raise the frequencies in love and light and growth. Raising the frequencies. And we use tones and light language to impart communication and instructions, as it were, from your higher self for your ascension and benefit. This is the time to heal, to purge the disease. You do not need it anymore. Set the intention at this time. I do not need to have any illness, disease, or imbalance, for I have already learned those lessons. It's time to discard that old pattern, that old process, and come to the pure golden light, which is pure health, radiance, and love. That is who you are. The other part is illusion. The illusion is there as a teacher. Set that intention and repeat every day, especially when you're closing your eyes before you fall asleep. You are healthy. There is no disease. It's an illusion that you transcend that and step into your higher resonance. For your spiritual, your higher self is always healthy, always in balance, and always functioning optimally. And that can translate into the physical 3D, for that is what you are in an expression of. That is your process, but you're not of it, you are in it. Yes, sometimes we sound like a Metatron. Sometimes we sound like a didgeridoo. Sometimes we sound like a sitar. But it's all interdimensional patterns of sound, and there's frequencies, there's messages, there's code within the sounds. Relax, breathe, and absorb. Just breathe, relax. We raise the frequency, just feel the flows. Golden light flowing through the atoms, in between the atoms, into the so-called empty space, which is really energy. To clear and to restore movement, restore flow and balance, to clear disruptions, obstructions, things that were implanted or interlaid within your energetic field through the process of ascension and growth that needs to happen in the physical 3D, the experiences that need to happen. You are not those experiences. You are light. You are love. All experiences are positive and of the light and love, even if the physical 3D body and mind do not agree. Yaso, yasotosa, shishipadara, myono, wipipi, akako, and together we share this beautiful golden light, the solar plex supporting the heart expanding through the brain body and out into the fields, sending golden light to the world, healing, centering, and ascending energies to assist those who need the healing, to vibrate higher light, higher energies, to help the transition happen more smoothly and more swiftly, so that less of your beings have to suffer through the process, to come into the other side of the portal, the golden age of enlightenment, beaming that gold light, feeling the love and the gratitude, expanding and growing, intensifying, allowing your heart to blend with the fields around you, with the earth herself and the atmosphere, and all the other beings in your world are part of your heart, part of your universe. Expand that light of love and healing with us, please, as we finish this transmission for today. Hey, Understand Archangel Gabriel is here with us at this time, supporting the ascension and the connection to your higher self and being to integrate those different parts of cells into the heart center and into affirmative action in your earth plane. Feel your roots deep into the ground. And also open up a little hole or tailpipe at the base of your auric field to let any excess energy drain back into the earth. Deepen your breathing. When you're ready, open your eyes. And as I was in the channel, they were also saying to be aware of more activity in the U.S. that could involve like terrorists or clashes or things like that this coming week. So just another thing to keep an eye on. It's all a reset. It seems like it's starting to come to a crescendo. We'll see where that takes us and how long it lasts. But if we're in the heart and we're vibrating this high frequency, we can be in the eye of the storm and all the chaos can swirl around us. But from the eye of the storm, we can steer the currents in a more positive direction in our lives and in the world around us. So that's what I have for tarot time today. I'm glad that we were able to resolve the camera issue so that you could at least see me, at least through the device camera, which isn't as clear, but hey, you can at least see the cards, right? So thank you, everybody. So Tuesday and Let Spirit Guide. She's going to be doing her work there. And then Thursday. And I don't know when my next live stream is going to be. I'll do another video soon. But I think it's going to be the following next. I mean, I may do one during the week. Sometime I want to do a mediumship night. I just, with my schedule, I just have to figure out which night to do it. Because I have a paid mediumship night on Tuesday. I actually have 3 more spots open. If anybody wants to do that, it's $40. Message guaranteed, 10 people maximum. And I only advertise on the newsletter list, so we only have three left. So this is the first time I'm sharing it outside of my direct clients list. So anyway, just came to my mind, and sometime we'll do a mediumship night on YouTube. And that, of course, is free. And you just sit in, I'll get messages, and hopefully your loved ones will come through that way. All right, guys. Thank you. Awesome. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Take care.